Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to give you a workout you can do in your home again. What we're going to use today is a band and a set of dumbbells and then a ball, but you can use any object really. It's sort of a balance exercise. I have just a lightweight medicine ball, but you could use a tennis ball or even just a glass, something to hang on to. It doesn't have to be anything specific. We're going to start with a band today doing a one-sided exercise. So if you haven't warmed up, go ahead and press pause. Go do a quick walk or some marches up and down your staircase a few times, something like that, and get ready to move. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with a one-arm row today. What I like about doing one-arm activities is it requires that one side to have to do all the work. When you do both at the same time, you're able to substitute a little bit and use some bracing in order to perform the exercise. And when you do one side, you do have to use your core a little bit for stabilization, and you really have to create that stable environment for those muscles to perform the exercise correctly. So I'm going to have you start with one side, doing a row. So we've done lots of rows in the past, and what you want to think about is keeping your shoulder down away from your ear. Squeeze your shoulder blade. You want to drive your elbow towards the back of the room. We're just doing one, and you'll notice I have my feet parallel here. You can stagger them if you're having any back pain with this. So if you put the opposite leg forward, I want you to try to keep nice and stable though, so that you're not doing a bunch of twisting here. So try to stay nice and stable. If you can, let's do this with your feet about shoulder width apart and keeping your core and your torso stable. So you really have to brace here with your core as well as working that upper back and arm and shoulder. So we're going to do 10 in a row. You may notice that your arm gets a little more tired doing it this way. It's because it doesn't have that other arm to kind of, even though they might be using separate handles, it really does make a difference in that muscle activation. Okay, now we're going to switch hands. Everything here is staying stable and keeping good posture, pulling those shoulders back. Each time we're just really driving that elbow towards the back of the room and thinking about moving that shoulder blade toward the center of your spine. You want to move it down and toward the center of your spine. This is a good postural exercise, working that posterior shoulder, your upper back, and your biceps here. You're probably feeling it as well. And you'll notice here, I'm not really in a squat per se, but I'm in kind of an athletic position, ready to move. My knees are bent, my hips are back just a little bit to protect my back, and my abs, my core is engaged. Okay, good. We've done about 10 or 12 on each side there. Now we're going to move into sit to stand. So we've done this in the past before as well, and what I really like about sit to stand is that it's a good way to do a squat with good form. So if you do have trouble with squats and if you have any knee pain, then this is a good way to do squats because it immediately puts you in proper form. So you're going to stand up. Ideally, do not use your hands. Now, if you have any knee pain with this, stagger your feet. So I have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back just a little. Generally, if you do have knee pain, put that foot forward. It's not a huge difference, but just a little. So you're staggering those feet, kind of giving your body, you want to move your body over, keeping that center of gravity close. So you can try it different ways. Stagger one foot and then the other. Or you can just keep them nice and stable, just like you would. Now, if you do have trouble standing up without using your hands, that's okay. You can either press off your thighs. Do this from a stable chair. Don't do it from your sofa or a bed. Do it from maybe a kitchen chair or a good sturdy folding chair, something like that. Even your coffee table is a good place to do it. And then also, if you really struggle with this, sometimes arms on a chair, like an office chair is a really good place to do it because it has a higher place here for you to have to push off of, and that's okay. Or, you know, leaning and pushing off of the chair. As long as you're doing them and moving, that is the important thing here. And this is a large muscle group that you're working, so you're getting a lot of calorie burn with these large muscle groups. And this is a really important functional exercise that you need to be able to do. Okay, good. Sit to stands. Those are a great way to do squats. Okay, next we're going to do an alternating shoulder press. So if you have dumbbells, go ahead and pick them up. And we are going to alternate. So we're doing one-sided things for a few of our exercises today, like I explained. And I'm going to move this up just a tad. So I want you to grab your weights, put them up here at your shoulders, and then we're going to alternate. Press one up, and then press the other up. So you want your back to be protected during this. So spread your feet about shoulder width apart. Again, you don't ever want to lock your knees. So you want a little bit of a bend just to protect, give you some cushion, and then tightening your core, because as soon as you press a weight up overhead, your back has to engage to keep you stable. So if you do have back pain and you know it, start with this one seated. You can continue to just do them here. If you have shoulder pain with these, bring them in closer and do them here. This, you know, kind of a closed range of motion. You can mess with it, you can play with it, and decide which is easier for you as far as pain levels. This is a challenging exercise, but I'm talking about pain. So if you have back pain, sit and do these. If you have shoulder pain, instead of having them out here, bring them in here. So it's more of a closed range of motion that protects your shoulders. Now you might notice that you need a lighter weight than you might think, because when you press both overhead, again, you get that bracing and that stabilization that you don't get if you do it single-sided. So try a little bit lighter weight if you need to. If you don't have weights at home, go ahead and use water bottles or cans or something like that. Okay, next we're going to lower to the floor. I'm going to bring my camera down here, and we're going to do a hip stabilizer. So I call these fire hydrants. You may have heard of them. I think we've done them here before. You want your, just on your hands and knees, your knees directly below your hips and your hands directly below your shoulders. Remember, you never want to have your shoulders up like this. Keep them away from your ears and think about keeping a nice flat back with your head also in line with the rest of your spine. So you're not down here and you're not looking up like this. You want to keep that all in line to keep you as pain-free as possible. So we're going to do fire hydrants just like they sound like. You're going to lift one leg up to the side. Now, when I'm doing this, I also want to think about keeping my back flat. So I don't want to go way up here. I don't want to dip anything. I want to keep everything else, all 3 points here, stable, and think about keeping your back flat, like you're trying to hold a teacup on your back. Now, you should be feeling this right in here. If you're feeling back pain, just don't move as far. Try a smaller range of motion. You don't have to go very far in order to activate that glute. 2 more. All right, now we're going to do the other side. So you're keeping a nice flat back, lifting that other knee to the side. Think about kind of lifting it toward the the corner of the room. You don't want to have to lift it all the way up. Generally, that range of motion, you're going to end up kind of hiking it up, and you don't want to break that nice flat back. Think about that teacup on your nice flat back. You're also engaging your core in order to stay stable like that. So any chance we can use our core, the better. All right, good. Now, if you want to, sitting back into a child's pose after that one feels really good to kind of stretch out those hips, Stretch out those hands and wrists as well and your shoulders. All right, now we're going to lower onto your back. So flip over onto your back. And we're going to do an oblique or side abs exercise. So many times we start in this position and we think about pressing our backs into the floor. What we're going to do though this time is let our knees fall over to the side and then try to lift them towards the center. So we're going to engage this side core or your obliques here, okay? So if you have a really hard time lifting both legs, try lifting one a few times, and then maybe every third lift both. And then again, you don't have to lift it very far off the ground. I'm keeping that bend in my knee. I'm just gently lifting my knees this way. So this is a great way to work your core without stressing out your neck. Keep your hands here beside your hips for that stabilization. All right, good. Now we're going to switch sides. So roll back flat, flatten that back into the mat or the floor. You can do these from your bed as well. Sofa probably would not work so well because you need a little bit of stability underneath you. All right, I've let my knees go to the other side. I'm gently lifting my feet up off the floor, working these obliques, working those side abs. They're such good things for posture and stabilization, helping to support that back. We want to work all areas of our core to improve and stave off back pain. Again, if you are feeling these after like 4 or 5 and that is it, that's fine. Stop after 4 to 5. You don't have to go to 10. 10. Okay, good. All right, now if you happen to get lightheaded when you stand up, especially from the floor, I know I do sometimes. I have low blood pressure. Sit up first. Make sure that you're not lightheaded, and then slowly stand up. And before you do anything, make sure you're hanging on to something. If you do feel lightheaded and you feel like maybe you're going to lose your balance, we don't want that. So transition from floor to stand. I can't get a good camera angle here. Transition from floor to stand slowly. Sit to stand. From sitting to standing can also be a challenge, but all the way from lying down on your back to standing, you don't want to do that quickly. Okay. We're going to end with a balance exercise. So we're going to start in a tandem stance, meaning one foot directly in front of the other. Now, if this is too challenging for you, stagger it just a little. So instead of being directly in front, stagger it over to the side. So I'm going to start with one foot in front. I'm taking this medicine ball, which I told you you could use, a tennis ball, or anything right now. You can use just something pretty lightweight. This is 2 pounds. You can even use a 2-pound dumbbell, or you can use a regular just playground ball. Anything you have. So I want you to start it out here with your arms out straight. Look at that ball. Bring it to center and bring it back out to the other side. So we're going to transfer it from side to side, and the challenging thing is twisting your gaze with that ball. So as you change your gaze, your balance really has to adjust to keep you nice and stable. So I didn't set a timer, and I'm not really counting here, but do about 30 seconds one way. Or, if you want to count and do 5 on each side or 10 on each side, then I want you to switch. So put the other foot in front, and then we're going to do the same thing. So if you have a really tough time with this, and tandem stance is about all you can muster, and you're standing next to a counter, only do that. Start there. If you've got that, and you're like, I can do this, then start with just transferring the ball without looking at it. So this is a little bit of an arm exercise. You're just changing, your balance by moving a weight side to side. Now, if you look at it nice and slowly. I'm feeling it now. I think I'm better on my other foot. So just slowly from side to side, transferring that gaze each direction. Okay, good. That was really good. That was a good full body workout to do in your home. You don't need anything fancy, some weights, some bands. If you don't have any weights or bands, you can try, a used sports store, or you can order some. Or like I said, you can always use water bottles or gallon jugs full of water. This is a little medicine ball. It only weighs a couple pounds, but any little thing like that, you can kind of be creative in your house. So go through these a couple more times and let me know what you think. Leave some comments and like my page, and I will see you again on Wednesday. Thank you, everybody. Keep moving.